What's up, nerds and nerdettes? This is the podcast where everyone knows your name.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Tyler, and this is 30 and Nerdy. And we are coming at you here from the Fortress of Nerditude with yours truly, the registered nerd practitioner, the founder of Nerdledge, the Mac. And it's always great to be joined by my co-host, the juicy one, the nerdtorious JLD, the PhD of Nerdology, Dr. Davis himself.
That never gets old.
I know. For those of you listening again, thanks for joining us. We're having the time of our life, and thank you for tuning in and week out, and having some fun with us. And if you're listening for the first time, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Overcast, TuneIn Radio, Radio Public, and of course we have our YouTube channel. We hope that you'll subscribe on any of those platforms, hit that 5-star and leave us a nice review or a suggestion. And we are on social media, Facebook, give us a like and a follow. We are on Twitter and Instagram, and we have a pretty gnarly website, www.30andnerdypodcast.com. You can check out some of our pictures we upload, as well as blog every single Sunday.
And all that stuff is free, right?
Yeah, it's
totally
all free of charge.
So if you don't like it, it's a money-back guarantee.
Yeah.
In fact, we'll double your money.
We'll double your money back if you don't like it. So, last week's episode, man.
Yeah.
Stranger Things 3.
Wrapping up our Stranger Things trilogy for now.
Yes, for now, until 4 comes along. Got a lot of great comments back from it. Of course, you know, anything talking about Stranger Things, people love.
That's true.
And if you missed it, it is on our YouTube channel. You can take a look at it. And what are we getting into this week?
Ooh, today, I'm so very excited. We're going to be talking about Harry Potter, because as you listen to this, it is actually Harry Potter's birthday, July 31st. And not only is it Harry Potter's birthday, but it's also J.K. Rowling's birthday, the person who created this wonderful, magical world that so many of us have grown up with and continue to share with our friends and family who maybe weren't around at the time, or they're new to it. And I'll tell you about reading the first book with one of my classes at school, and that was so much fun, and it was great, and we'll get to that. We're going to talk about just the impact that Harry Potter has had on the world, on our culture, and all the different aspects of Harry Potter that movies,
I never
books.
could have imagined it would get as big as it has.
No.
When that first book came out, I never thought that there'd be an entire wizarding world.
We all knew it was something special, but no one could have foreseen that it would become what it is today.
And so happy birthday, Harry.
Happy
birthday, JK. And we're going to get to some of that stuff after a word from a couple of our sponsors.
All right. What's up, Muggles? It's Josh here to tell you once again about our friend Zach at Advertising Expressions. You know, Harry and the rest of the Quidditch team, they probably went to Zach to get matching t-shirts, you know, Harry Potter, number 1, Seeker, whatever. If you're looking for shirts for your Quidditch team, be sure to hit up our friend Zach, Advertising Expressions. You can reach him at 423-586-3270. His store is at 2103 Morningside Drive, or you can visit his website at advertising-expressions.com. Tell him 30 and Nerdy sent you. He'll get you taken care of.
You know, the arts are a vital part of the educational process, which is another key to economic development and improved quality of life. Arts education and opportunities help participants develop skills in critical thinking, goal setting, team building, problem solving, conflict resolution, and craftsmanship. At Encore Theatrical Company, they aren't just dreaming it, they're doing it. Encore Theatrical Company is a volunteer-based regional community theater that uses the power of the arts in live performances, education, and various creative outlets to cultivate and enhance the quality of life in the Lakeway community in the East Tennessee region. There is always something going on at Encore, from plays, musicals, camps, classes, community outreach, and most of all, fun. Come see what it's all about here in Morristown, Tennessee, where it's not just theater, it's Encore. Alright, time to talk nerdy to you. Your nerdcabulary word for the week is nerdaholic. And a nerdaholic is someone who is a little too addicted to a certain thing in our world of nerd, or nerddom, if you will. Example, have you seen the Pokemon nerdaholics that are so into it that they only wear Pokemon clothing and only talk about Pokemon?
I've seen a few of those.
I mean, and you could even go as far as to say there are Harry Potter nerdaholics.
There are MCU
There are.
nerdaholics.
And those same nerdaholics are the ones who you see writing fan fiction and stuff like that. So, and
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I actually met a supernatural nerdaholic that I used to work with at Central Services. I'm a supernatural fan.
Big time.
But this girl creeped me out. So, that's your nerd word for the week. Nerdaholic. Use it in a sentence, and if someone's like, where'd you learn a word like that? Oh, let me tell you. 30 and Nerdy Podcast. And you'll just send them back to us. So yeah, that's your nerd word for the week.
Thanks for that. And since you're so impolite, I'll be the nice one. And I'll ask you, how are you doing this week, Tyler?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. I got back from Europe, and I've started rehearsals for this show, The History of the Devil, with HorrorCon. We're doing it at the HorrorCon in Knoxville. And I'm also in Rocky Horror with Encore Theatrical. And, we had a get-together the other day for your birthday.
Yeah.
And then some of us American Idiot cast got together at the pool last night. And I just feel like I'm tired, man.
You've been go.
I've just not had a second to myself probably in the last month. So and I'm feeling it. But no matter how tired I am, when I get here and we get to talk about nerd stuff, I get excited and I get woke. And just happy to be here.
It makes it all okay.
And I got to help you paint a little trim in your new classroom this week.
Yeah, a little bit.
I didn't do as much painting as you, but
finally started the painting of my new room. Got in there, and this was literally, folks, this used to be a computer lab. It's the first time it's a classroom, at least in a long time, from what I hear. And so it's an empty room, like yellow walls.
Manila.
That was how I described it. So I was a little overwhelmed because I knew I had a big job ahead of me, but I finally got it done, and you stopped by and helped a little bit. Greatly appreciate that. It's done. So the room is painted, except I still have to organize everything in the room. I got to put all my posters and stuff like that up. My first official obligated day at work technically is tomorrow night. But then Wednesday, I'm back all day. So when everybody's hearing this, I'll have just finished my
first day at your new school?
Full day at my new school.
And let me tell you,
kids yet.
Kids, students, parents, teachers. I used to be a teacher. I'm a teacher's kid. My best friend's a teacher. My sister-in-law is a teacher. My brother-in-law was a teacher. My brother was a teacher's aide. My younger brother teaches in New York, so we're a teaching family. We need it summer just as much as the kids do. And teachers feel going back just as much as the kids do. So
if not more so.
When school starts back, take it easy on them kids, because they're coming out of that summer heat as well. But I think you're gonna have fun, man.
I will say though, like in our school system, they do a really good job of getting us pumped up and motivated for the beginning of school. They really do. So I would say that by the time I have a room full of kids, and usually like I'm on my A game when I got the kids with me,
Yeah.
And I just kind of tune everything else out and I focus on them and I just try to have fun with them because that's really all they want. Like, if they're having fun.
Well, yeah, if they see you having fun teaching, then they'll have fun learning.
And they want to listen if you're having fun and you make it fun. And I try to do that. I mean, and you can imagine, my room being full of, Spider-Man stuff and all that. So they're all into it, and I really am looking forward to it. It's going to be sad not being able to lay around and do nothing and hang out with them all day, but it's going to be a good year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I'm excited, man. So let's get on to your favorite segment. What you watching? So, what are you watching?
Well, I watched two things this week. I watched on Netflix Saving Mr. Banks.
Great movie.
I saw it in the theaters, actually. several years ago when it came out, but it was on, and I said, you know what the heck? So I watched it because I didn't remember a lot of it, and man, it is a great, great movie. So if you're listening to this and you haven't seen Saving Mr. Banks, it's on Netflix. It's the story of how Walt Disney and the Sherman Brothers, the guys who did his music for him in the
Walt Disney's
early
played
days.
by.
Walt Disney's played by the one and only Tom Hanks, and he knocks it right out of the park, by golly. Emma Thompson plays the lady who wrote Mary Poppins. Her name has escaped me right now, Travers. And she just gives them such a hard time. She hates everything that they come up with. She rejects everything, and she criticizes everything. And they just have the worst time trying to convince her to make this movie. But obviously,
I love the scene where he takes her around the park.
That's a great scene.
Yes, and just lets her unwind.
Well, I don't want to give too much away in case someone who is listening hasn't seen it, but my favorite scene is when he comes to her house and has a talk with her, and that's sort of that's the final nail in the coffin. Man, Tom Hanks, we don't deserve Tom Hanks.
No,
Can
we
I
don't.
Just say
have you seen the trailer to Mr. Rogers?
Dude,
I teared up thinking about my childhood and
that last scene. He's on the subway.
He nails it.
Yeah,
he can do anything. And he makes you completely forget that it's Tom Hanks. He does a fantastic... Yeah, the scene on the subway where the kids and the adults are singing...
Hey, Mr. Rogers, and they sing It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and he says, oh, well, that was wonderful. That's exactly what Fred Rogers would have said. He would have just thought that was the most delightful, wonderful thing that he had ever seen.
He was one of the few people who, even in the terrible times that happen in this world and in this country, he's trying to teach through a positive enlightenment and just... Be nice. Be a neighbor to one another. And you don't get enough of that.
There'll never be another Fred Rogers.
Oh, I'm telling you. I'm excited for that. I'm excited. What's the other thing you're watching?
Oh, yeah. So the other thing is the new Amazon Prime series, The Boys. It's based off of a comic book of the same name by Dynamite Comics. And I will go ahead and tell you right off the bat, this is not for the little ones. This is TV 14.
So not for the nerdlings.
No. Very mature content,
language.
Lots of language, lots of nudity, lots of graphic violence. Right away. This isn't a spoiler because this is the first scene, but it's about this guy named Hugh. He has a girlfriend and everything, and they're walking down the street one day, and she just suddenly... It looks like she just vanishes, but it's because she's been hit by this really... a speedster-type superhero. So she just is blown to bits. And he's standing there. He was holding hands with her, and he's just holding her hands, and that's all that's left of her.
Oh
Again, that's not a spoiler. It's right in the very beginning. Okay?
Was the speedster drunk?
No. So... That's part of the mystery right now.
So not the Flash. My gosh.
Yeah. He stopped for a second, but I can't say much more about it. But in this world, there are a few superheroes, and they're like celebrities, and they're they work for this corporation who sort of owns them, and they put them on social media, and it's like a big business. So
they're egotistical.
Most of them are terrible people,
superstars.
Yeah. So it's great. I do highly recommend it. I'm really crazy about it. I'm only 2 episodes in. So the good thing about it is it's great, and I can't wait to see the rest of it.
Éomer's in it.
And Carl Urban, he's in it.
He's like the unsung nerd.
And the guy who plays Hugh, the boyfriend I mentioned, he was in the Hunger Games, and he was the guy that killed Rue. Spoiler alert. He was the guy that threw the spear and killed Rue.
Young blonde-headed guy?
No, he's got light brown hair. You're thinking of the dude that made it to the very end.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the guy who'd wound up being a good guy.
He was the District 2 guy, and he wore all the flashy
yes.
Okay.
Stuff.
Yeah, his name was Marvel, I think.
Yeah.
So, the good news is it's really good, and I'm excited about it, and I can't wait to see the rest. The bad news is I love it so much, and I'm sure most people do, so there's probably going to be a line of pops come out, and I'll have to have every single one.
Oh, no.
So, that's the bad news.
Or maybe they're going to have to do nerdy pop rides again.
Maybe it's good news and good news. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Depends on how your wallet thinks it's bad news.
For sure, and my wife, too.
So last week you asked me to watch something.
Yeah.
The Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
So I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't just watch through it. I watched through it and took notes.
Good.
Not anything ridiculous, just little thoughts. I would just throw out thoughts First off, I love a good Southern accent. Like that New Orleans Southern drawl. Like, I love the accents. The little blonde in the beginning.
Charlotte.
She reminds me of Honey Boo Boo when she was a little girl. And John Goodman, when I realized that was him, he sounds just like Big Dan T, though, from
Bible
Sales Boys. I liked when the dad said, "Wish can only get you so far. The rest is hard
dad?
work."
I think that was Terrence Howard, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one good thing he did was voicing a kind dad. And of course, the dad dies. It's Disney, so can't have both parents. I love the music. I loved New Orleans when I got to visit there. So, and the movie really captured the vibe. I mean, even still to this day, it has that same vibe.
Oh, you mean they got those details, huh?
Yeah, sure. They got crocodiles playing trumpets and stuff, and the voices were good. I couldn't recognize the prince. Is he a popular?
No, he's not. He was someone who was like one of the animators or something.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I used to know more about this.
I was picking people out, and I was like, oh, that's, because I'm a big voice acting fanatic, but I was like, who is this guy?
On the DVD, there was a little thing about that, and it talked about how he did it, but he's not done much of anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Don't know how you pronounce it. Dr. Facilier.
I just call him the Shadow Man.
He's a fantastic villain.
Yeah.
I love his charisma. I love his swagger. He almost, in the one day that I've seen that, has went up on rungs of villains from a Disney.
For sure. I don't want to get like too off in the weeds on this, but I want to tell you that if you go to Disney at Halloween, they have Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and they have special shows in front of the castle, like the Three Witches from Hocus Pocus, the Sanderson sisters. Yeah. They come out, and the Shadow Man is also in it. And
does he do
yes.
Friends on the Other Side?
Yes. And the Oogie Boogie Man too. Oh. He comes out, so that's like my favorite time to be at Disney.
That's a great time to go.
Yeah, they have like pumpkins everywhere. Like they have these big, huge barrels full of candy, and you literally just go up to it and just scoop all the candy you want,
as much as you can,
and you can go around through it again. So we always leave with way too much candy. We give it to the kids at school.
I also loved the spin on the old wives' tale of the Princess and the Frog. That instead of it's a reverse spell basically.
Yeah.
I loved that. The nice alligator that plays the trumpet, he's hilarious, and of course Jim Cummings is my favorite character as Ray.
Yeah.
Oh no, listen up here. I loved Ray, but then they killed Ray. Spoiler alert.
Somebody's got to die.
I was like, what a terrible way to. And they didn't kill a big character. They killed the tiny little firefly, and I never thought I'd cry over a firefly,
dude.
But that was so sad.
I saw this one in the theaters. It hit me hard too.
Especially at the end, he winds up with his
Evangeline.
Yeah. But I definitely enjoyed it, and like you said last week, it had the feel
old
of
school feel.
Our Disney movies.
Exactly.
I enjoyed it more than anything they've released today, because it gave me that nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this could have been filmed alongside like Great Mouse Detective, Sword in the Stone, any one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it.
They need to do more of that old style of animation, I think.
I think ever since they bought out Pixar, they've leaned towards that animation too much.
I think it's just the way of the world, man, but I guess it's just for us, that older style just appeals to us.
And I think it's what really kept me going the whole movie was there wasn't I could, pick up my phone, or I can go to the restroom, or I can, and still let it play in the background. It's almost like, oh, wow, it's the old animation. I feel like I'm in elementary school again.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt, too.
It was good. It was a great recommendation.
I knew you'd like it, and I'm so glad that you did.
Yeah, I think that's one Disney movie that I would get behind bringing to Broadway.
Oh, dude, I've thought about that,
The set could be beautiful. Oh, the lighting. We'll give them a call.
Yeah. I mean, if you can do the Lion King on Broadway, you can get some frogs and stuff too. So
I'd want to play Ray.
You can do anything on Broadway.
Yeah, you can do anything on Broadway. But yeah, man, I can't wait to talk about what we watched this week, or for next week's episode. But thanks for the suggestion.
And I'm gonna say that everybody else out there, if you haven't seen it, You should check it out.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Absolutely.
You know what that means. It's time for your nerd news of the week. So, how long ago would you say that the reboot of Power Rangers happened, the movie?
Oh, probably 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Or so.
Well, fun fact, they're rebooting it again.
They're rebooting the reboot?
They're rebooting. So they're doing a whole nother Power Rangers origin movie of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
They probably should, because the last one was pretty bad.
Yeah, poor Dacre Montgomery. He was great as Billy, but not a good Jason. And just that story was...
I watched it because it was like on Hulu or something.
Well, yeah.
Because I wasn't going to pay to watch it because I heard how awful it was.
Well, and as a Power Rangers fan,
Sure.
you gotta watch it.
So I watched it, and it was like an hour and a half before you even saw them in the suits.
Exactly.
What the heck?
Way too slow build. Way too much.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the change of the mythos of Zordon was the Red Ranger and Rita was the Green Ranger that turned on them.
Yeah.
I didn't hate that.
Yeah,
that was a
that's
cool
fine.
little spin on it. But, so I guess it didn't work out, and so Saban's like, let's reboot it again, and maybe do it right.
Yeah.
So that's happening. Look to more news coming, probably Dragon Con time, I think they said they'd be willing to talk
So,
some
like,
more.
Next month? or a
Yeah,
little
next
after?
month
Okay.
we'll get some minor details. Batwoman is coming up soon in the DC TV universe, and apparently it's getting some heat, some backlash for apparently giving this anti-male vibe, this anti-Batman vibe. And
This is based off of just the previews
yes,
of it?
just
or?
based off the previews, there are some fans who are like, it's so anti-male. And as a Batman fan, as a guy, and a nerd, who cares? It's Batwoman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if there's other reasons, sure, but is your male sensitivity so damaged that Batwoman offends you for being anti-male? It's
Yeah.
about Batwoman.
Yeah.
And it's after Bruce has left.
Even if it's true, man, some things just aren't meant to reach everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, do you really think a 45-year-old white man should be able to truly judge Batwoman as a show?
Yeah, doesn't mean you can't enjoy it, of
No,
course.
just
but
enjoy it.
It may not be meant.
I was reading
For
some
you.
of the hate comments, and I was like, okay. Something.
I mean,
there are more important problems in
I
the
haven't
world.
seen anything about it. I don't know anything about it other
Yeah.
than what you've just now told me. But, you and I, we don't have a whole lot of that toxic male thing going on. So, you and I are probably totally
I'm sitting there
oblivious
going,
to it.
go, baby,
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we talked about this a little earlier this week, me, you, and Logan. Zombieland 2 double tap trailer released.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. In the trailer, man, you realize that there are more survivors out there than the 4 that we fell in love with in the first movie.
Yeah.
And it is star-studded. There are celebrities coming out the woodworks for this sequel, and Abigail Breslin's all grown up, so it's like this crazy flash-forward opportunity on them being older. Luke Wilson's in it.
I saw that.
I'm excited. I really am. I think it's going to be very fun to go see. I think it's going to be funny. It's going to be kind of we'll just have to get some Twinkies, and to watch it. Hopefully it's one that the three of us can sit down and watch together.
Yeah.
So, your boy, Spidey, has made another mile marker for the Marvel Universe.
Spider-Man Far From Home is the first ever Spider-Man movie to cross the $1 billion
With a B.
dollar mark. It's crazy. And well-deserved.
Absolutely, it's well-deserved. I mean, my favorite Spider-Man movie. I liked Homecoming. I think you liked it a little more.
I think I liked Homecoming just a smidgen more than Far From Home. Not even enough to even talk about.
Yeah.
And it's only because he was in New York. And Spider-Man, New York, friendly
Yeah,
neighborhood. Like,
yeah.
I get it. He can't always be there. You got to make it a little more interesting. So it's not that I had a problem with it. It just felt a little bit different. I still loved it. But I still can't say that either of them are my favorite. Into the Spider-Verse is my absolute favorite Spider-Man movie ever made.
And we didn't deserve it.
And it's the lowest grossing,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
But it also shows what people like.
Right. And I told you about this earlier. Like, I don't think that they did a very good job of marketing that movie.
No.
Like, I knew hardly anything about it going into it.
I mean, you even said you went into it thinking,
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's going to be a cartoon. It's going to
Yeah.
be just, whatever. But it was incredible. And I'm going to say it again. This is probably the third or fourth time since we've started the show that I've said this. If you have not seen Into the Spider-Verse, don't wait anymore.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Go.
Watch it. You will not be disappointed. I mean, I had...
it's mesmerizing.
I have the digital copy on my Movies Anywhere account. And, like, sometimes when we would have days at school when... we were allowed to show movies. I don't just show movies in class all the time. But it was like, I let them pick. They pick Into the Spider-Verse. And, like, the next time, they picked it again. We watched
Even though
it
they've
twice.
seen it.
Even the kids who aren't into superheroes and stuff.
Well, I'm telling you,
they sat there.
Visually, it's beautiful.
Exactly. You said mesmerizing.
Yeah.
That's the perfect way to describe it. Because they were. And I've seen it, so many times now. But if it's on, I'm still stopping everything that I'm doing and I'm watching it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
good. So good.
Absolutely. So, before we get to the sad news, it's time for a new world of The Walking Dead. Apparently, the untitled spinoff, which was announced this past April, dropped its first bit of content thanks to a new teaser released on AMC's Facebook. This series will follow 2 young female protagonists and others in the first generation to come of age in the apocalypse. So, young stars.
That's interesting.
Yeah. 2 female leads, and there are some other, but they're teenagers who have come of age in the apocalypse, and it comes out this next spring.
I'm just going to say it. Like, I don't really care.
No, yeah.
I mean, I get a hard time sometimes, or people give me a hard time, because they're like, oh, Josh just likes everything. No, not true. That is false. The Walking Dead, the past 2 seasons or so, I don't care anything about it. I haven't watched...
I'd say 3.
Since the stuff with Glenn.
Yeah.
It was just like downhill. It just moves so slow now, and I didn't watch any of the last season past Rick. I just don't care anymore. It's just not working for me.
And that's kind of like what we were talking about with Stranger Things. I think Walking Dead's overstated.
It's welcome.
It's a welcome.
Yeah.
So... maybe this show will be something cool for us to watch.
I mean, I hope that they can, get it back together and revitalize the franchise and everything, because I really did love it before. But
yeah.
So I'll check out the movies that they're coming out with, and
those will
and
be in New York and all about where Rick went.
Okay.
So those will be
see.
exciting, and plus it's big screen, not small screen. So, we got some sad news this week in the nerd world.
Yeah.
You can talk about this.
Just the other day, Russi Taylor is her name. She was 75, and she was the voice of Minnie Mouse. She also did the voice of Martin on The Simpsons, but let's face it, Minnie Mouse is the number one thing here. So she did pass away, and I found this out today, and this is amazing, okay? This makes me believe in, like, true love and stuff, okay? Get this. Russi Taylor was married to a voice actor named Wayne Allwine, who was the voice of Mickey Mouse until his death in 2009. So Mickey and Minnie were married in real life until his death. Tyler is smiling so big right now. Isn't that the most heartwarming, wonderful thing you've ever heard?
That's amazing.
That's magical, man. That's great. So
that's beautiful.
Really, it is.
Oh.
So, rest in peace, Russi, and thank you for all your contributions to the magical world of Disney.
Thank you for all your contributions,
and for making my daughter smile every time she sees Minnie Mouse. So
exactly. But that. I know we ended on a sad note, but that is your nerd news of the week. Nerds, when we're working on the show or binging Stranger Things or rewatching Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, or even playing Ultimate Alliance or Fortnite, we get hungry. And when we need to refuel, 9 times out of 10, we're going to choose Akita Express. Akita is a family-owned restaurant where they treat you like family and feed you till you're full. Full service portions and quality at a fast pace. They honestly believe in providing the best customer service and fast food for a reasonable price. Fresh, hibachi grilled food in a matter of minutes. If you haven't tried it, I'm sure they will be able to fix you something you will enjoy. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Give Akita Express a try. They are at 3100 East Morse Boulevard right here in Morristown, Tennessee. And when you stop by, tell them 30 and Nerdy sent you. Creative Theater was formed in 2016 by several theater professionals who saw a need for quality community theater and arts education in the Pigeon Forge area. Each of these founders had previously desired to launch their own organization, and one day, through conversations, realized that they all shared the same dream, to pass on to others the love of theater. By uniting their time, energy, resources, and expertise, Creative Theater commenced thus fulfilling their dreams by making new experiences for others. Creative Entertainment, a 501c3 not-for-profit organization, is dedicated to entertain, enrich, and educate through high-quality productions and programs which expose the community to the excitement of the arts. Now, you can find Creative Theater at 125 Music Mountain Drive, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, 37863. Give them a call for their next show, 865-888-6311. Give Creative Theater a try.
Thank you, John Williams, for this wonderful musical introduction. And we told you earlier that it was Harry Potter's birthday. Tyler, how old is Harry Potter today?
Today, Harry Potter would be 39 years old.
39 years old. Wow. Happy birthday, Harry.
Happy birthday.
And happy birthday, J.K. Rowling. I don't know how old she is, but it's probably best if we don't discuss the lady's age.
Yes.
She would probably prefer that. But that means that it's time for us to... on Harry Potter.
The whole Potterverse.
Everything Harry Potter, because there's so much of it.
Did you ever think, reading the books as a kid, that one day there would be a cell phone game or countless video games, countless Lego games, movies, other books?
Not once. Not ever.
Spin-off books and movies. I mean, a theme park.
It's true.
The Potterverse is... I mean, it outgrew Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
It's up there with Star Wars. It's up there with the MCU. And it's just...
I've always kind of wondered, like, if several years from now, the Harry Potter books aren't something that are, it's going to be studied, like you read certain novels in schools and everything. Mm-hmm. And, like, if it's one of those, it becomes such a classic that it's put into the curriculum.
I don't know why I wouldn't. Because, like, you could use Harry Potter to teach a creative writing class.
Even if it's just the first one.
And, yeah, even if it's just... I mean, you got to use the first book.
I did. It was a small class, and it was like kids that needed a little extra help with reading. So, like, my main goal was to get them excited and interested in reading. So we read a lot of fun books. We read, like, The Indian in the Cupboard and stuff like that. Yeah,
I loved
that. But I was like, okay, guys, this is a book that really made me a reader. Yeah. And I'm going to try my best to make it fun for you and exciting. And I tried to read, like, with, the voices and stuff. Dude, they loved it. They loved it. They wanted to read the second one, but we didn't have enough copies. So it was a win for sure. But they were into it big time.
And again, a teacher victory thanks to J.K. Rowling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's changed the world. And to think that next year he'll be 40.
Wow.
The 40th.
And when we say this, we mean, like, Harry Potter, the
character. Not Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe's our age.
Yeah. He's like 2 or 3 weeks younger than me.
Younger than you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I'm older than Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes.
And that makes you feel good about yourself.
Well, only about 3 weeks. So
speaking of the books, You had the Sorcerer's Stone in 1997.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you never think about that. Like, Harry Potter was a 90s book.
Yeah.
You think about, like, how late the movies went and how late the books ended up going once you got to the 7th book. But 1997, you had the Philosopher's Stone was the original title, but the Sorcerer's Stone. And you didn't get the first movie until 2001.
When were you first sort of introduced to Harry Potter?
Not 97. 2001. I read it at Metaview when I was in 6th grade. Between the Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potter books, they sent me to the AR trip every year. So,
for those who don't know, AR means accelerated reader. Like, kids read books and they take quizzes on the computer about it. And if you get so many, you get a reward.
Yeah, so between Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, I went to the trip all 3 years.
For sure.
So, but yeah, 2001, I read the first book.
So for me, it was like 98 or 99. My mom had a friend who came to visit us, and we went shopping one day, and she's a big reader. And she said, I've been reading these books, and I think you'll love them, and I want to buy you the first 2 books, because I think the first 3 had been out. And I was like, man, whatever. I don't really want books. I was hoping she'd buy me a toy or something. So she bought me the Sorcerer's Stone, and I still have, it was the paperback copy. I still have it somewhere. She wrote in it
so do we.
and everything. It was one of the best gifts now in hindsight that I've ever received, because it opened up this whole world for me. So it took me a little bit to read the first one, because really it doesn't get interesting until 4 or so chapters in.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
if
think
you're
about
7 or 8 years old.
This is 97. We were 8 years old.
As soon as it got to the point when, like, they got to Diagon Alley and everything, I was like,
he gets Hedwig, and
I'm into this.
Yeah. I think my favorite memory of the first one is probably when he's surprised with the Nimbus 2000. I love that moment, because, his parents were killed, and sure, they left him this mass fortune, which we never. One thing that I learned in Europe by subtly following this Harry Potter tour in Scotland is nobody questions where the heck Lily and James got this money.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, because they weren't wealthy.
Maybe they just invested in, like, the wizarding version of Enron or something.
Maybe they did
before its downfall.
But like, he gets into Quidditch, and he's got all these hand-me-down athletic wear from the team and a terrible broom, and he's gifted the Nimbus 2000, and it was McGonagall that got it for him. Yeah. And it was probably, one of the better things that had happened to him.
Yeah. It's like, finally, something good is happening to him.
He gets a gift, and it's cool, and it's new. It's like, you didn't play baseball.
No.
But when I was in Little League, everybody wanted a gold Omaha bat, and I got one. My dad got me one, and I felt like I was going to hit home runs every time now. But it kind of, it feels like that. So that was probably my favorite memory.
So I have a funny story that you probably haven't heard, which is unusual because you've heard most of my stories. But when the first movie came out, I was basically homeschooled. It was a private school, but this lady ran the school out of her house, and there were only like 10 of us there. But she was great because she would take us on field trips all the time. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I pictured you saying it was rent out of his house. Some weird bald guy in a wheelchair taught the school.
Well, if I told you that, I'd have
to kill me.
Yeah. But she would take us on field trips to movies if they were based on books, and plays and everything. Like, that's how I got into theater. It was really because of her. But she took us to the premiere on November 16th, 2001 to Harry Potter. And I was the biggest Harry Potter fan out of all the kids there. And when we got to the movie theater, the local news was there, to see what all the fuss was about. And they interviewed me on the news about Harry Potter. And I was nervous. I remember I had a necklace that had Hedwig on it. Okay? And that was the only part they used. Because I was so nervous on the camera. I was like stuttering and stammering.
It's on your necklace. I like turtles.
That's essentially what it was like. And they were like, well, we'll just show his necklace and that'll be it. But I knew it was me. I saw it and I was like, that's me. That's me. So it's probably best they didn't show the rest of it. But yeah, that was
I'd like
cool.
to see a clip of that. So then you got the Chamber of Secrets. Book was in '98. Movie was in 2002. But best character of that book is Gilderoy Lockhart.
Dude, for sure.
Hands down.
I'll never forget, like, at the same school that I was talking about, she let us read those books. Like, after lunch every day, we would all gather around in the living room. We'd get all comfy and everything. And sometimes we'd have the fireplace going. And we would read the books out loud. And we would all read different parts. And I got to read Lockhart.
Like a play.
Exactly. We had so much fun. So, this is why small classes are so much better. We need smaller classes. I don't want to get into that. But if you have small classes, you can do things like that.
You can take time to focus on the quality.
Anyway, I'm sorry. So, I got to read as Gilderoy Lockhart and Ron. And I'll never forget at the end, they have the sword of Gryffindor, and somebody says something about a sword to Lockhart. And he says, sword? Haven't got a sword. That boy does, though. He'll give you one.
He'll give you one.
And for some reason...
Because his memory's been oblivion.
I thought that was the funniest thing.
It's the fun. We still quote that line to this day.
Yeah.
Like, sword? Haven't got a sword. Do you live here? I mean, and
This
the
is
guy...
an odd sort of place.
The guy who plays him in the movie is fantastic.
That's Kenneth Branagh. I can't pronounce his last name.
What else?
He's a big deal, dude. He directs a lot of stuff. He's done a lot of Shakespeare.
Yeah. You can tell.
Yeah.
He's a very Shakespearean actor.
Yeah. He actually directed the first Thor movie.
Really?
Yeah. So he knows what he's doing.
Well, I think you can tell that, like, the way the first Thor movie's kind of set up and driven.
It's been years
basically.
since I've watched it, so
well, I just
can tell you,
rewatched it.
Yeah,
taking Madison to the MCU.
Oh, good.
So we just watched Thor 1.
That was him.
Yeah, cool. So we move on to The Prisoner of Azkaban. Book was 1999. Good year. Everyone was in fear of the Y2K.
Oh, I remember.
And the movie came out in 2004. Now listen here. The Prisoner of Azkaban, I wouldn't say it was my favorite book out of the series, but it was a good book. It wasn't my least favorite.
I think it might have been my favorite.
But the movie did not deliver on the book's promise.
No.
I mean, there was so much left out.
Like,
intricate stuff.
Last Christmas, I went back and rewatched all the Harry Potter movies because it had been years since I had seen them. And it's really not so bad. Like, it's weird because a lot of times when you watch movies that you watched when you were younger, they don't hold up. And, you remember them being a lot better than what they are.
Oh, man.
This one I enjoyed more now than I did then. Well, so maybe try it again.
I think if you, going through being a Potterhead, basically, you were constantly analyzing the Harry Potter books or movies in a different light and at different times in your life. So, I mean, I just, watched through them last year with Madison as well. And I mean, and I would agree that I didn't hate The Prisoner of Azkaban as much as I originally did. But it's still probably my least favorite movie.
They change things, and they're always wearing their Muggle clothes, and I don't know, it was different.
It's almost like they tried to pave the way for the older world.
Yeah,
too soon.
It was a different director.
Definitely.
I mean,
you can tell.
Christopher Columbus did the first two, and then Alfonso Cuarón did this one, and it was the only one he did.
Yeah,
and then I think
for a reason,
David Yates did all the rest of them.
Well, there's a reason that they didn't ask him back.
Yeah, so it was inconsistent with the other movies.
Maybe
that was the biggest problem.
Maybe that's the problem. It's just
bad
inconsistent. Haircuts. Oh my gosh. And
really?
and their wardrobe. Like looking back now, like when they go back in time and she's like talking about her hair and all that, and like I started noticing, I was like, "You're on Hogwarts grounds. Why aren't you wearing wizarding clothes like you did in the first two?"
Because the books make a point to talk about how strange they think the Muggles dress and all this, and I get the fact that Harry and Hermione come from the Muggle world, but they're not in the Muggle world now.
No, they're not. So they should be wearing what everyone else is wearing.
Yeah.
You don't see Malfoy and Crabbe and Goyle wear Muggle clothing. They're always in their robes.
Well, you do later.
Or later they're
remember
in,
when
like, these
Draco
dark
wore
suits.
yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't make it or break it, really, but it was, like
it's
we
not
said,
the worst thing I've seen.
inconsistent.
Yeah.
Least favorite of the movies, for sure.
Absolutely. So then we move on to The Goblet of Fire. 2000, the book came out. And 2005, Goblet of Fire film came out. This one, I really enjoyed. I loved the tournament aspect, getting to meet other characters of the wizarding world. You know, you learn in this one that there are other schools.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Beauxbatons and Durmstrang.
Mm-hmm.
And they're night and day from each other, but also totally different than Hogwarts.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing they left out of the movie, unless you watch the extended version of this, they left out that each school has a theme song.
Oh, yeah.
Because Hogwarts is like Hoggy, Hogwarts.
Teach us something, please.
Yeah. But in the book, you know, they're making fun of Hogwarts song. The Durmstrang boys are. Because it's just so silly. It's so silly and so funny. But I loved the characterization. I truly feel in this one, the movie did right by the book. There were some creatures left out.
Yeah, they left out Winky, the house elf.
Yeah.
But, and this is the same thing I'm going to say about Peeves, because you mentioned Peeves.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Peeves was cool, and I would have liked to have seen Peeves. And I know for a fact that they did film some Peeves stuff for the first movie, but they cut him.
He's at the beginning, when the ghosts start showing up.
Oh, okay.
One pops up to the table and he's like, woo.
No, that's the Fat Friar, buddy.
Oh,
that's the
Fat
Hufflepuff
Friar.
ghost. Yeah. Peeves is not... They cut all the Peeves stuff. So what I was going to say, the same thing about Winky and Peeves. They do not further the plot of the story by any means.
Well,
So
there
you
were
don't
some
need
times when they were sneaking around where Peeves would run things for him.
But there were other ways to get around that with characters who were already established. Why do that when you really don't need them? You know, if you took all the details from all of the books, these movies would be 6 hours long. And don't get me wrong, there are some people, probably me included, who would have loved a 6 hour long Harry Potter movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's just not going to fly. So,
we could have had a little longer. Lord of the Rings is 3 hours long. They could have added 5 minutes.
that's true too, but
Peeves.
they cut stuff out of Lord of the Rings that wasn't essential to
They could
furthering the
have
plot
added
either.
5 minutes for Peeves.
That's why we didn't have Tom Bombadil.
Again, pissed off about that too.
Why do you have to have him for 5 minutes?
Well, I mean, Tom Bombadil I wouldn't want for 5 minutes. I'd want the whole scenes of the Barrow Whites and Tom Bombadil.
But he literally has nothing to do with it later on.
I at least wanted the scene in the second book where the first time they're meeting Moaning Myrtle and they're sneaking to the bathroom and Peeves is like shouting at him like, oh, students are, you know, playing tricks on him, goofing off, you know. That scene would have been funny to see.
So what I've always thought, like, when I was a kid, they had Harry Potter coloring books and stuff, so it was like a cartoon version of all the characters. As I read the books, I remember, like, I would visualize it almost like an animated thing. I wish they would do, like, a Netflix series, or anybody, like an animated show of Harry Potter and include more stuff from the books. And like you could do like a whole episode or a couple episodes on each chapter and do a whole season of each year or each book.
Oh my gosh.
I would love that. It would be, you know,
Don't be shocked.
The movies just came out recently and I know that it's really not time to redo anything like that, but in this different style I think it would work. And
I think
people would love
I
it.
definitely think it'd work on a streaming service. Each year gets a season.
Yeah.
You're in detail. Sure, you might have to bring in new voices, but
yeah, I think that'd be okay.
That
and the other movies would still hold up too.
Yeah, because it's a different
version, a different way of telling the story.
I would handle that much more than I would a reboot of the movies in the next 10 years. So we move on to the Order of the Phoenix. I think this is one of my favorites too.
I think it's probably my favorite of the movies.
2003, the book came out, and in 2007, the movie came out. This was when what? What are you laughing at?
I was on the news again because of this.
The movie?
No, the book. I went to the midnight release in the bookstore.
Yeah.
For this, they didn't interview me, but like they were interviewing somebody, and I'm walking around the store waiting on 12:01 before you can buy your copy of the book, and the place was full of people. And I remember like walking in front of the camera and looking at it, and I like was waving my arms so I could see myself later on, and I did see it.
It's
So,
like, yes.
but yeah, that midnight release was a lot of fun, and they made some sort of butter beer, and they had games and stuff.
When they were doing that, it really. I think for, I know you're from Union County originally, but here in Morristown, it really kind of revitalized the mall for a specific crew.
Oh yeah.
So instead of like the teenagers hanging out, like we got our midnight release of the Harry Potter books, and the nerds came out to play.
Yeah.
They were dressing. I never dressed up. They were dressing up, and there were lines and droves and people that you might not have see an everyday walk throughout Morristown. You're talking about your favorite characters, what's going to happen, oh my gosh, your predictions. And it's like, wow, even by the 5th book, you're creating a world and bringing people together in an aspect that we never thought you would.
I miss that. And, we talked about one time the whole, like, when you have shows that they release the entire season at once on a streaming service, you don't get that anticipation. Oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
No, yeah, you don't.
And I miss that so much. The mystery of, like, what's going to happen. How does everything work out? How's he going to, get past the fact that Voldemort is back? And,
he's back.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I miss
exactly.
that. And what's so sad is that there's nothing like that anymore. There's not midnight releases for books, as far as I know, that people are all excited about.
No, there are no. Well, there's no franchises book-wise that people really even care about. I mean, even the Twilight books couldn't even touch the franchise. The Hunger Games books couldn't even fathom of being.
And it's you can't deny those are big deals, but
they
don't.
But nothing will ever.
You can't even hold a candle.
Well, I mean, and I think it was generational too, because like I don't think that anybody was camping out at midnight for Lord of the Rings books. Because when were they written? I mean, I think it was just it hit in this perfect era of nerds.
Yeah.
And we were the type of nerds to camp out at midnight to get a book of this wizarding world.
Have you seen the illustrated copies that they're coming out with? They've done the first 3 so far, but it's a big hardback book, and it's the entire book, but it's illustrated all throughout.
So randomly you'll see random illustrated, or every little page is illustrated.
So I happen to have a copy right here of the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay.
So you can see it's not every single page that's illustrated, but there's still a whole lot. Like,
it's much bigger print.
Yeah, and like some of the pages will have all the words at the top and at the bottom. Yeah.
Here's a scene of
Crookshanks
chasing Scabbers.
She's got him by the foot there.
Oh, which we later find out is Peter Pettigrew. Yeah. Oh, this is cool.
And that's like they're
Shrieking
walking around
Shack?
Hogsmeade to the Shrieking Shack. So really cool stuff. So I'm excited for the rest of them to come out because, here in a couple years or so, when Emma's a little bit bigger, we can read these to her.
Absolutely. And this actually is my favorite scene of the 3rd movie and 3rd book, the Night Bus.
The Night Bus. That's on the cover.
Scene. Take it away in.
Yeah.
So Order of the Phoenix brought us probably our first really sad death. Goblet, Cedric died, but sorry, I didn't really care about.
I didn't really
care about Cedric.
So I said.
But in the Order of Phoenix, we lose the only chance at another family, a connection to his family.
Right.
Like he had a connection. Like he finds out Sirius Black is his godfather, and he is who he would go to in the event of his parents' death. Yeah. Oh, wow, my godfather, a family, a connection to the past, dies.
Yeah.
That one hit hard.
It did. I remember staying up all night to finish reading the book, and the next morning I was like, what just happened? But I was so hopeful that everything would work out because
He fell behind the
he
veil.
kind of fell through the veil and everything. And that veil, I read up on that veil one time. I think it was after I watched the movie recently. Like, that veil is like the gateway to the world
Afterlife.
of the yeah. And there's no coming back from it.
So even if he survived the hit, which technically he shouldn't have because it's the Avada. Well, in the book, it's not
was
Avada Kedavra.
a stunning spell, which gives you a little bit of hope. J.K. Rowling, and then the movie, I think it was the Killing Curse that she got him with. So, and it affected him a lot differently than other people who were hit by it.
Yeah, because I think that really showed his power.
It's normally like instant kill, and he kind of hesitated for a second.
Even looked at Harry,
reacted, and then fell into the veil. But
and he actually had a smile.
Do you remember
looking at Harry?
Do you remember the glass that Harry had? It was supposed to like they had the mirrors that they could talk to each other with.
Yes,
and he had that little piece of it still.
The movie's never explained where he got it. Well, Sirius gives it to him in the books, correct?
I think so.
But in the movies, he just winds up with it in the Deathly Hallows.
And we learn like it's Albus's brother who's looking at him on the other side of it. But I was so hoping that it was going to be Sirius, but he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. So then we move on to the Half-Blood Prince, and that was in 2005. Order of the Phoenix was 2003 for the book and 2007 for the movie. Well, 2 years later, we get Half-Blood Prince, 2005, and the movie was 2009. Another huge death in this one.
Yeah, oh, man. This death was spoiled for me.
Really?
My best friend in the 8th grade, TK, that was his name, TK. He's called me. He said, I just finished reading the book. And he was not a big reader, so I didn't think it would ever happen. But he beat me to reading it, and he goes, yeah, Dumbledore died. I was like, what?
Why would you tell me?
So I didn't get the same feeling that a lot of other people did when they read it because I knew it was coming.
Oh,
man, that sucked. Because Dumbledore was the character that I felt like as long as he's around, everything's cool, everybody's going to be okay.
Like Gandalf.
Because he can handle it, just like Gandalf. And he's torn away from us.
Oh, that was
and I love Dumbledore.
Because then you knew it was wide open.
Yeah.
That was our climactic, like, oh, the bad guys have won.
Did that pretty much confirm for you that Snape was a bad guy when that happened?
No.
Okay, me neither.
It didn't.
Me neither.
It didn't.
Because Dumbledore trusted him, and Dumbledore can't be fooled.
No.
So, I knew there would be some way around it.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say I knew.
I would have arguments with friends that he was still not a bad guy, not the villain. That he's...
It was just too obvious that he was just awful, right from the beginning.
Well, yeah.
And if it's a question this far into it, there's got to be more to it.
At this point, we've already seen or read in the books and seen in the movies the scenes where Snape's supposed to be teaching Harry how to keep Voldemort out of his head.
Occlumency?
Yeah, occlumency. We've already seen the flashback of Snape and Lily.
Yeah.
We've already read about all this or seen it.
Harry's dad was a jerk.
Yeah. And we're just kind of like, okay. So, Dumbledore and him had a conversation before. So, even when he killed him, I was like, oh, a part of the plan. He asked him, if the Malfoy boy can't do it, you have to be the one to. That was later on, wasn't it?
Yeah. That happened in that same time, but we didn't see that until the 7th one.
So, the death of Dumbledore, and shortly after that, we learned that the Half-Blood Prince is Severus Snape.
Yeah.
Then we move on to the Deathly Hallows. Every time I say it, I have to say it like Lovegood does. The Deathly Hallows.
Xenophilius.
The book came out in one part in 2007. I remember Nolan went to the midnight release and we were leaving the next day for vacation. And each of us would switch it back and forth after a chapter on the ride to the beach. Like chapter 1 to Nolan, then the mom would read chapter 1, then I'd read chapter 1.
Oh, Lord, that would have killed me.
And I caught myself after every death that would pop up. I'd be like, I need a break. And like, I just can't anymore. Man, I can't.
I remember, like, I guess we were like freshmen in college or something. It came out in the summer.
Yeah, so we were out of high school.
We were about to start college. I was working at the mall at the guest services desk, so I really just got to sit on my butt all day and do whatever I wanted.
And read.
And I would read, and I was reading this, and it got to the part where, do you remember when they crash landed back at the burrow? Hagrid
thought Hagrid was dead.
They kind of make you think that Hagrid's dead, or she made you think,
yeah,
because he's laying face down in the mud. And I remember closing the book, because this was after the Hedwig thing had already happened. And
yeah, we'd already read the death of Hedwig.
That was tough. So I'm like, you know what? If Hagrid is dead, I don't think I could go on, because Hagrid is like one of my top 5 characters.
Absolutely.
Love Hagrid.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, I'm going to start this next chapter. And if Hagrid's dead, I may be
done.
Just ring the bell, because I don't think I can go on.
I may stop at 6 and just go, well, bad ending.
I can't recover from that, but, luckily he was okay.
Yeah. But, the movie they did in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord.
Oh, man. I'm going to say this, okay? I'm a pretty sensitive guy, and I don't care to show my emotions and stuff like that.
Guy.
But I don't typically cry when I watch sad things and movies and stuff.
No.
Every now and then I'll maybe get a little choked up or whatever, like we talked about, who was it earlier?
Oh, Ray.
Yeah. Now that one was a tough one.
Yeah.
Dude, when Dobby,
I end up part
sobbed. 1. I saw it with my ex-girlfriend who
end it with that. The fact that they ended with that.
I remember, I saw it with my ex-girlfriend who, ironically, I now refer to as she who must not be named. But I was crying, full on over Dobby. And, I remember her reaching over and, wiping a tear off my face, because it was so sad. And even though he was dying, he was happy that he was with his friends.
With his friend.
In such a beautiful place, he said.
And what really adds to it is after she throws the dagger through the portal, the, what's that called when they can teleport? Apparating. You see this smirk on Bellatrix. She's like, I hit somebody.
Yeah.
I had to hit somebody with that knife. So somebody's dying. But on the beach, just happy to be with friends. Oh my gosh. I'm glad they did it in 2 parts, though, because I think I would have had to, if it had been one big, long, 4-hour movie, I'd have been like, can we take a time out? Because emotionally, I can't take this. The same way I handled the book in 2007 was, I need breaks after these deaths.
Luckily, they sort of rushed through the deaths, at the end of the book. For the movie. Because it was in the battle. It was chaos. I mean, you couldn't stop to, have a sentimental moment over the deaths, even of really big characters. Some of them we didn't even see their deaths happen. We just
Tonks and Lupin, we just
saw Harry walk in and look at all the bodies,
We didn't see Fred die.
No.
Which, like I said, good.
Yeah.
I could, but if they had showed every death moment, I think I'd have lost it.
Yeah.
But the Deathly Hallows were fantastic because you learn that this entire time, Harry had a Hallow.
And he was a Horcrux.
So he was a Horcrux who had a Deathly Hallow.
Yeah.
The invisibility cloak that his father left him.
She was really good about bringing everything full circle, and the fact that Ron got the Deluminator that Dumbledore left him, and that was from one of the first moments in the books.
Yes,
really cool.
Yeah, she's really great at that. And I did have one question. Death himself, the brother who got the invisibility cloak, Death himself, in the story of the Deathly Hallows, if you're wondering, could not see the brother under the invisibility cloak. So how could both Dumbledore and Mad-Eye Moody see Harry under the invisibility cloak if Death himself could not see the brother? Is that just showing their power that Dumbledore and Moody are two wizards that are...
Moody's eye is pretty...
Yeah, moving around all the time.
I really don't know, man. I don't know. I've never even thought about that.
I was thinking about it, like, when I was typing up notes today, talking about the Deathly Hallows, I was like, oh, it just hit me. The cloak is a hallow, and Death himself could not see the brother. So how could Dumbledore and Mad-Eye Moody? It was kind of like, I wish they'd have answered that, like...
I guess it's maybe because it was a new form of magic at the time, and Death didn't know about it. Maybe.
So I know we're not diving deep into either of these books or these movies. We're talking about the whole Potterverse. So years after we get the Deathly Hallows, things are starting to calm down. We're still reeling from some of the deaths, some of the ending. This universe that we have grown to love is over, and it's ended, and you get that sweet little, epilogue at the end where their kids are going.
Yeah.
But it also gave you that kind of, I wonder what that would be like. And then, when did The Cursed Child come out? Like,
not long ago.
Not that long ago.
3 or 4 years ago,
3 or 4
maybe?
years ago,
yeah.
She releases an 8th book.
Yeah.
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
But it's not really like a novel. It's a play. And it's written that way.
I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Dude, I read that thing in one day.
Well, I read it in a week. I don't...
Well, I was sick, so I was in bed and had nothing
I read
to do.
it in a week, and I would catch myself... When reading it, I would catch myself alone at the house reading it and the different voices out loud as if there's an audience sitting in the house with me.
You're really weird.
I am, man. I'm a theater nerd. So, I enjoyed it. I liked the spin of Harry's son is kind of a jerk, and Draco's son is the sweetest thing on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
Just that reverse, oh, Harry's son's in Slytherin, and a bit of a baby. And so, what was your favorite part of this?
It's really hard to say because I don't remember it very well, but I think probably the moment when you find out that the one character was the daughter of Voldemort and Bellatrix. Do you remember that?
Yes. The whole time you think that she is Diggory's keeper. Like housekeeper or something like that. And I love to try to fix the mistake that they've made, that they keep playing with time.
Yeah.
And they'll go back to different times with different outcomes. Like in one point, there's an entire chapter of the book where Severus is still alive. And Headmaster. Before everything happened. And I was like, oh man, I really want a movie of this, but we couldn't have that because Alan Rickman's dead. Which we haven't discussed that. The stars we have lost. Mm-hmm. From Richard Harris to Alan Rickman. Throughout the years, we've lost the live action stars that created the characters we fell in love with.
Yeah.
So,
well, I would love to see the play.
It's like...
I think, don't they do the play in 2 parts?
It is. It's in 2 parts. I actually, in New York the other day, on my way to Waitrose, I walked past the theater.
Yeah.
And...
Was it chaos? Was it mayhem?
It was mayhem. The line...
Oh, my goodness. Is this Professor McGonagall? Is that you? I'm sorry, I won't be late to class again.
Transfiguration. I hate
boy.
that cat.
Me too.
But yeah, the line was ridiculous.
I bet.
And yeah, it's done in 2 parts. And I think as long as it's there, we need to make that a trip.
Put it on the list.
Put it on the list. So, not too long after the explosion of the Potterverse, Universal bit in to it, into that apple, and have have made some money off of the Harry Potter name,
and it's
I've not
deserved.
been.
I
have not been since they've. I mean, I haven't been since I was in 6th or 7th grade. So I have no idea. You know, I'll see commercials or pictures, your all's pictures, stuff like that, and of Hogwarts and the Wizarding World at Universal Studios.
I've been like 3 times to that park. And like Universal's okay, but if you've been at Disney and then you go to Universal, it's sort of a letdown. Like, it's just not as good. But the Harry Potter section of the park is really worth your ticket price, because as soon as you walk into that area, it's like walking in. It's like walking into one of the movies. They've got the Hogwarts Express there. You can see Hogwarts off in the distance, and it looks exactly like the movie. It's all really well done. The people who work there are in character. They wear the robes. They do the accents. A lot of them do. And I remember like walking up to one of the employees, and this is, again, after I'd been at Disney like 3 days before this, so I was used to everybody being like super like, hey, Gaston's out hunting, and you know, like playing it up like it's real life, you know what I mean? And I walked up to a person, was like, so in Muggle terms, can you explain what this is to me? And they were like, okay, he gets it. So they told me. But it's really well done. They've got a motion ride that you go to in the castle. It's like they have robotic spiders jumping out at you. You're on a bench. It's an enchanted bench. And you fly through the castle and the forest and the grounds and everything. A lot of fun. They have the actors from the movies in the ride.
Really?
And part of the castle you walk through, like the portraits move and talk. And they've got the Sorting Hat in there, and he talks to you.
Is the fat lady there?
I think so. Yeah. And the mandrakes, you walk through like one of the greenhouses, and you keep hearing that meh, meh, meh. Yeah, like they're buried, but you can hear them in there.
I want to go so bad.
It's worth checking out. Yeah, everybody should see it. And now they've opened up a second part to it, like, because Universal has 2 parks. It's the Islands of Adventure and Universal. And the Islands of Adventure is where Hogwarts and everything is. And they've opened up Diagon Alley in the other park, and I haven't been to that part yet. So. One day.
Oh, yeah. Cool. And now in this generation, we are all about our cell phones, our mobile devices. A couple years ago, Pokemon Go came out, and following suit, the Wizarding World has a mobile app game. And we've both played it. I believe Becky plays it way more than we do.
Yeah.
She seemed to have taken a knack to it quicker and more than us.
Yeah, so if my wife gets into something,
I think that there's just way too much.
If my wife gets into something, like, she gets a little bit obsessive with it, and she's been that way about this game. It's like, I'm going to go for a ride and go play Harry Potter. It's like, okay. So she's really into it, and she's done all the missions and leveled up big time and stuff. And I'll play it every now and then. But yeah, like you were trying to say just now, it's really complex,
There's
especially
so
when you compare it to Pokemon. It's
simple.
meant to
Pokemon's
be
simple.
It's meant to be the same type of deal, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the Harry Potter one, and so I'm not crazy about it.
And like you said in a previous podcast, it might have been Stranger Things 2 or something. You said you had started playing it, and there was a problem. You created your wand.
Yeah.
You chose what your wand looked like,
not
what
how
it
it
was
works.
made of. And Harry Potter fans out there, I would think, would be like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
They're giving the Muggles way too much power.
You know, exactly. You know, make us answer some questions or something to determine what our, you know, kind of like they do in Pottermore, you know. So, speaking of Pottermore, you know, we thought we would take the time to do this fun little live Pottermore sorting hat. Now, what Pottermore is, it's the official entertainment and news channel for the Wizarding World. It offers the latest magical news and stuff like features and sorting hat and Patronus experiences and archive stuff from J.K. Rowling herself. So we have both signed in to Pottermore and have created our passports if you will.
I did this years ago, but I don't remember any of it, so this is going to be all new to me.
And we're going to do it live. Now, years ago when you took it, what were you?
I was a Gryffindor.
Years ago when I took it, I was a Slytherin.
I think that's fitting.
Yeah, you would.
All right, so there's a button here that says Discover Your House.
Yes.
Is that where you are?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to click on that. I put my computer on mute, by the way. All right, dawn or dusk? Whoa.
See, mine says forest or river.
Really?
Okay.
I'm going to say
Ooh,
dusk. What does yours say? River or
forest or river?
What are you going to pick?
Forest.
All right, I'm going to pick dusk. Which of the following would you most like to study? Merpeople, centaurs, werewolves, vampires, goblins, trolls, or ghosts? Do you have that question too?
No.
What the heck?
Well, I mean, I would say they don't want it to be uniform.
I guess you're right. I'm going to pick ghosts.
Okay.
What's yours say?
After you have died, what would you most like people to do when they hear your name? Ask for more stories about your adventures. Miss you, but smile.
Or spit when they hear your name because you're such a hero.
Thank with admiration of achievements. I don't care what people think of me after I'm dead. It's what they think of me while I'm alive that counts. Who cares what they think of me while I'm alive?
So,
Miss you, but smile.
I think that would be the best choice too.
Yeah, I'm going to go with miss you, but smile.
Okay, my next question says, what kind of instrument most pleases your ear? The piano, the drum, the violin, the trumpet. I'm going to pick the piano.
Okay. And my question is, 4 boxes are placed before you. Which would you try and open? The gleaming jet black box with a silver lock and key marked with a mysterious rune that you know to be the mark of Merlin. The ornate golden casket standing on the clawed feet whose inscription warns that both secret knowledge and unbearable temptation lie within. The small tortoiseshell box embellished with gold inside which some small creature seems to be squeaking. The small pewter box, unassuming and plain, with a scratch message upon it that reads, I open only for the worthy. I think the Merlin box.
Me too.
Definitely.
Okay. Mine now says, which of the following do you find most difficult to deal with?
I've got that one.
Yes, we're on the same page. Loneliness, boredom, hunger, being ignored, cold. I'm going with cold.
I would
don't
have
like
to
to be
go
cold.
with being ignored.
I'll remember that.
Yeah.
All right, what's your next one say?
A muggle confronts you and says that they are sure you are a witch or wizard. Do you ask what makes them think so? Tell them that you are worried about their mental health and offer to call a doctor? Agree and ask whether they'd like a free sample of Jinx? Agree and walk away, leaving them to wonder whether you are bluffing. I would do that. I would be like, yep, you're right, and just walk away.
Mine says, which of the following would you most hate people to call you? Ignorant, selfish, ordinary, cowardly. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with ignorant.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to be called ignorant. Yeah. If you could have any power, which would you choose? The power to read minds? Oof.
No.
Power to change the past? No, because it makes you who you are. Power of invisibility? The power to speak to animals? The power of superhuman strength? The power to change your appearance at will?
Ooh. I like that one a lot. Flight isn't an option, I guess, because you can just get a broom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I'd say invisibility.
I think I would do either the animals or the... What was the last one?
The change your appearance.
Oh, yeah, or that one. Okay, if you were attending Hogwarts, which pet would you choose to take with you? Oh my goodness. Barn owl, harlequin toad, ginger cat, tawny owl, dragon toad, white cat, natterjack toad, I don't even know what that is, common toad, Siamese cat, snowy owl, tabby cat, black cat, screech owl, barn owl, three-toed tree toad. Does it matter? Does it really matter? I don't even know what the difference between any of these things would be. Definitely not a cat, because I don't like cats. I'm going to say one of the owls. I'm going to pick tawny owl. Why not?
Okay. My next question is actually that question. What animal would you choose? And I would actually choose a black cat, and I would call it Banks.
Smart. Hocus pocus. Okay, so I just got the one about a muggle confronting you.
Yeah. What would you do?
Oof. I think realistically I would probably say, why do you think so? But I like that last option about walking away. That's the best one. But
leaving them wondering.
I think in real life I'd be like, what? No, why do you think that?
Yeah.
So
yeah. My next question is heads or tails?
Mine is black or white.
I'm going to pick tails.
I'm going to pick black. Oh, I think that's it. Oh, this is it. All right, so what did you get?
I'm a Gryffindor now.
Wow. Guess what I am?
A Slytherin.
No.
A Gryffindor.
No.
Oh, God, are you a Hufflepuff?
No, I'm a Ravenclaw.
Okay.
So I'll take it, I guess.
Wow. I am a Gryffindor now.
So I like Slytherin.
I guess I changed over the years.
Hopefully. If you don't change and evolve, you die.
That's true.
Okay, so moving on, I believe we're going to have a special guest here in a moment. And
really?
We're going to play a little game. So what do you say to that?
Oh, I'm down.
We'll see who knows the most about the Harry Potter books. So for the first time ever, we're joined by the Queen herself.
Okay.
I want to call her Queen of the Nerds, but she's not really too much of a nerd.
No.
But
she's enough of one.
She's enough of one, and she's married to me. So it's my wife, Becky. Welcome to the show, Becky.
Hey, guys.
So we're going to play a little game. How's this going to work?
Well, a couple of years ago, I came across this website called Sporkle, and it's this quiz site. And I mean, it's just any quiz you can think of, but I found Harry Potter Minefield that I was immediately obsessed with. And the game is you have to name the top 50 most named Harry Potter characters without getting one wrong.
Because if you get one wrong, it starts you over.
It starts the whole game over again. So not only do you have to think of the top 50 most named Harry Potter characters, you have to remember 50 of them. If you get one wrong, it starts over. So.
And you're timed.
You're timed.
Yeah.
One thing I would do is name one in one round and then forget to put that one on my list the next round, and it's just crazy. So anyway, we've got a modified version for you guys.
So we're gonna do 20.
Not 50.
Okay, so 20.
Yeah.
So it is the top 1 through 20, the top 20 most named Harry Potter characters.
Okay.
Okay, so what we're gonna do? Okay, you guys are gonna take turns naming off a character. If it's on the list, you get a point. Not on the list, you just don't get a point for that round. Once all 20 are named, we'll count up who wins. And it better be Josh, or he's sleeping on the couch.
You heard it here, folks. And that's probably true. And just to be clear, like, even though she's married to me here, I do not have an unfair advantage. I have not seen the list, and earlier she started talking about it, and I was like, because I knew we were going to play. So I don't know any of the answers. So if I win, it's just because I'm that good.
Okay.
Are you ready?
And if I win, it's because you're that bad.
I guess that's what that means. All right, here we go.
Okay, so you want to start with you?
Sure. You ready, Becky?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to say Hagrid.
Yes.
Harry Potter.
Yes.
Hermione Granger.
Yes.
Hermione Granger.
That is incorrect.
So we.
You can't say the same ones.
Okay. So.
Give me somebody different.
Ron Weasley.
Yes.
Okay. Professor Snape.
Yes.
Professor Dumbledore.
Yes.
Professor McGonagall.
Yes.
Draco Malfoy.
Yes.
Neville Longbottom.
Yes.
Tom Riddle.
Yes.
Does that count as Voldemort?
Yes.
Okay, so I can't say Voldemort.
No.
Sirius Black.
Yes.
Alistair Moody.
Yes.
Oh boy, this is a lot harder than you would think. How about? I don't know. How about Molly Weasley?
Yes.
Professor Lupin.
Yes.
Oh, Bellatrix?
No.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure she's like 40.
oh man,
So you're a little off.
yeah.
George Weasley.
Yes. Oh.
Fred Weasley.
Yes.
Lucius Malfoy.
No.
Nice. Yes. Did we say Neville already?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You did.
I did. I'm trying to think of some of the other kids. Ooh, what about Dean Thomas?
No.
Man.
Ginny Weasley.
Yes.
I think I'm sleeping on the couch tonight.
Yeah, I think you are.
Oh man. Could it be, did we say Ginny?
I just did.
You did?
It's literally my last one I named.
I don't listen to you. Arthur Weasley.
Yes.
Filch.
No.
Hmm.
So now we have 3 left, if I have heard correctly. Number 9, number 18, and number 20.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
Nearly Headless Nick. That's, no, I take it back. I take it back. I didn't finish. James Potter.
You know, he's number 48.
Gah!
If you believe it.
Foiled again.
Weird. Foiled.
And Lily, she didn't even make the list.
That's blasphemous.
It is. Did you say the other two? The
Professor
dog
Snape?
You said.
Yeah, I already said that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Pettigrew. The
Nope.
Cornelius Fudge.
Nope. He's pretty close, though.
wow, I didn't think about Fudge. Goodness gracious. Is Cho?
Nope, she's at the bottom.
Uncle Vernon.
Yes, number 20.
Petunia.
Nope.
Oh!
She is 29.
How is he 20 and she's the way?
I don't know. Dudley.
24.
So we only have one left, right?
Mm-mm.
2?
2.
Okay.
Unless I missed it, I think you said a character close to this
Well, I think I've
one.
miscounted then because I have 9 for Tyler and 10 for me.
So maybe you guys did say this one. Can I just ask? Did you say Draco?
Yes,
I did.
he said that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right, then we're down to 1. And
One
this
more.
is that one that I told
And
you
you
about.
have to get it to tie with me, otherwise, if I win.
This is the one.
I know there's some people out there listening to this who are like huge, major Harry Potter people, and they're probably like, "Oh, I know it,
That's
I know it," and they're
easy.
screaming it at us.
No, because I'm a Potter person, and like
You
30 minutes ago, I had a hard time with this. I
Oh.
forgot. But I mean, in all fairness, I was trying to do the 1 through 20, not all 50.
So how about we do this then? We
Wait.
give you 2 chances
What?
to get this last one, and if you don't get it, then we call it, and she tells us who the last one is.
So I can just say my 2?
Yeah,
Crab and Goyle.
No, but they are on the list.
but the top 50, not.
I mean,
Okay,
yeah, they're
yeah.
on the top 50.
All right, so that means I win.
Who's
Congratulations, me.
missing?
Are you not going to get 2 extra chances?
Well, I already win though.
I know, but I want to
Who's
know if
gonna
you know
miss?
the list.
Who we missing?
I struggled to come up with the other ones.
I'm
guys.
gonna be
I don't
upset
know.
if it's who
Can you give me a hint?
A professor. I lied. It's not a professor.
Oh.
It was at one point. This person was at one point.
Is it yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that guy.
Umbridge.
Umbridge.
I wanted to mention her, but
18.
I wanted
How?
to mention her, but she didn't come in till.
And see, that's why I was
5?
thinking that it was...
So who? She
that
was
was it.
18, so who was 19 and 20?
Moody was 19.
Hmm?
And Vernon Dursley was...
She's mentioned
20.
more than them. That's crazy.
Once she's brought up, I bet she's like, boom.
Yeah,
boom,
but I
boom,
mean,
boom,
just think
Umbridge,
about it.
Umbridge,
All
Umbridge.
the 5th book. And then
6.
and she was...
She's in the 7th one
7th, yeah.
when
So
they
the
broke
last
into her
ones-
office.
They had to break into her office. No, that was in the...
That was in 7.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
They
they got the Horcrux out of her office. Am I
Yeah.
the only one who knows anything about Harry Potter
Shut
here?
up.
Sorry,
I mean, I
was
won
just
the
thinking
game.
about the time that they broke into her
There's
office at
twice.
school.
Yeah, there's twice that they've broken into her office. Her school office, when she's headmistress, and then her Minister of Magic office. At the ministry.
So she's mentioned a lot. I don't know that she's present a lot.
She's a terrible, terrible human being.
Well, thanks for that, Beggy. Thanks for joining
That was
us.
fun.
That was a fun game,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll call it a win for me.
Sure.
We should have made a bet on this.
A slap bet? Maybe
No.
the next game.
So if it's a slap bet, that means I get to slap you, right?
If we had
'Cause I
done
won.
it. Maybe the next time.
Well, that was fun.
It was. Truth be told, I thought you'd win.
Really?
Yeah.
Truth be told, so did I.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I wish I had a little sound effect ready to play "We Are the Champions,"
Ah.
so I could celebrate my victory. And we found out what houses we belong in.
We did.
Things have changed.
Yeah. I guess I've matured.
Well, you've gone from apparently being a terrible person to a really good person.
I guess.
So, and I
thought it was the reverse.
I went from being a really good person to a really, I don't know,
Mediocre?
studious. Yeah, maybe. Are there really any great Ravenclaws? Cho Chang was a Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
That's not helping me any because she broke Harry's heart, didn't she? A little bit.
Yeah.
And Luna.
Okay.
And Luna's yeah, but
success.
Luna's
I
my
will-
least favorite character.
Are you kidding?
No,
I love Luna.
I thought she was annoying.
I love weird people.
You
though.
can
I
go ahead and
love
send
weird
me your
people.
hate mail for hating Luna. It's fine. I don't care.
I
but
love Luna.
she annoyed me.
Ugh.
Oh, there's
Book or
Nurgles
movie?
and your head's full of Nurgles.
Book or movie?
Both.
Really?
Yeah. That's a story for another time. So you went to Europe.
I
and
did.
You got to see some of the places
Yes.
where they filmed stuff. Tell us a little bit about it.
So, fun fact, in Edinburgh, Scotland, is where Diagon Alley is. It is the street. It's not really an alley in real life. Basically, what they did is it's the shop fronts and it's the stonework of the road, but they took that and digitally shrunk it into an alley.
Okay.
So the Ollivanders, the Borgins and Burkes, the Weasleys, Wizard Wheezes, those storefronts are still there. And actually, Ollivanders became a store called The Boy Wizard. And in this store is a shadow box of Voldemort's wand from the movie, signed by was it Ray? Is it Ray Fiennes? Ralph Fiennes. Yeah, he didn't want to keep his wand, so he left it to the store owners when they were done filming at Diagon Alley, because it was technically Ollivander's.
Were there any other landmarks there besides the store?
Besides the store, there was, you can tell the store fronts. Like, we looked into what was Borgin and Burke's, and it's creepy in real life too. Just the way the store is set up. The two buildings combined that were used for Weasley's Wizard Wheezes are still standing there. They're actually an orange and purple building. And looking down, if you keep walking, it's not right on top of Diagon Alley. Which I should have taken a picture of some of the real street's name. But Nocturne Alley, where Hagrid finds him in the second movie.
Yeah.
It's just this little side street with some steps, that they, I guess, moved the camera in the right direction to make it look like a longer alley.
Movie magic.
Yes, exactly. We got to see the school for a split second because it was closed to the public. That was the basis, the idea that Rowling got for Hogwarts.
Oh.
It's this big academy, and they're housed. There's houses, and it's just this. Doesn't look like Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Hogwarts is actually, that castle is actually in New Zealand or somewhere, or South Africa or somewhere. But in the middle of Edinburgh, there is a massive castle that kind of would make you think it's Hogwarts, but it's not. So, also, there's a cemetery not far from Diagon Alley that when she would get writer's block, J.K. would just walk through the cemetery to get name ideas for characters in the book. Like, there's a McGonagall grave. There's a Moody. And at the very end of the cemetery is Tom Riddle's grave. That the name basis for the character of Tom
Riddle. That John Lennon and Paul McCartney did basically that same thing? Like, they would go to the graveyard and hang out to write songs. And
like Eleanor Rigby?
That's exactly where that came from.
A cemetery?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Apparently the Europeans are like, where do you want to get our ideas?
Hogwarts was Oxford, London, by the way.
Oxford, London. Gotcha. But yeah, I mean, that was just a few of the locations that Harry Potter filmed in, and a lot of it was right there in Edinburgh, Scotland. And we had no idea when we planned the vacation to stop in Edinburgh, Scotland. We did not know until we got there that Diagon Alley was right around the corner. That the school that she got the idea of Hogwarts from, that the characters' names came off of headstones. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And speaking of some unknown facts, in honor of I know originally we said 7, but I count the Cursed Child. So 8.
Why not?
Unknown facts. Unknown fact number 1. Dumbledore is an Old English word for bumblebee.
That sort of makes sense for some reason.
Well, remember in the 4th one, the Beauxbatons teacher calls him Dumbledore.
Mm-hmm.
It rolls like bumblebee. Second one, Snape's Patronus did not turn into a doe until after Lily died.
I didn't know that. What did his Patronus look like before her then?
No clue.
What would your Patronus be?
Probably a sloth.
Yeah, I can see it.
Because my mom and dad are always saying, like, how do you move like a sloth? Let's go. Yeah. And not like, I don't know. I would like to say that my Patronus would be a white tiger.
Why?
Mysterious and ferocious at the same time.
Oh, I totally see it. Not so much, really.
Actually, I don't know.
I think mine would have to be some sort of really, like, excitable, like a monkey or a little puppy or something like, just like that. Because I'm like super ADHD.
Yeah.
And, sometimes people tell me like, oh, you're like a squawk, the little dog goes squirrel,
Okay, so maybe my real one would probably be like a panda bear.
Well, because they're big and cute.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I think you're pretty cute sometimes.
And for those of you who don't know, what Patronus is
listen, if you've made it this far into the podcast and you don't know what a Patronus is, I don't know what you're doing.
It's like the reflection of your soul.
Yeah.
Basically. Fact number 3, Rowling came close to killing Ron a few times halfway through the series because she was, in her words, in a bad place in life.
Everything would have been so different.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
4, one of Rowling's biggest regrets in the book series is Ron and Hermione's relationship.
The fact that it happened or the fact that it didn't happen sooner?
The fact that I don't know. She said, when asked about her biggest regret, she just said Ron and Hermione's relationship. And did she say it like that just to have the person go, why? What about it? I wonder if she regrets not doing it sooner, like having the back and forth. I would have done it sooner.
I will tell you something that does kind of annoy me about J.K. Rowling, though. It's like, after the books are said and done, like, they're ours now,
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, but really this was supposed to be this, and like she changes things and adds things and all that stuff, like
changes the narrative of stuff.
Like, I'm just gonna talk about it, okay? I'm just gonna say it, and it's gonna come across really bad. And please,
well, it might change some people's perspectives.
I don't mean it the way it sounds, okay? We found out all these years later that, like, okay, Dumbledore was gay. Mm-hmm. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But
after the fact,
there was nothing in the book. There was nothing, and I've had a debate with a couple people about this. Like, oh no, this is clearly a sign that he was gay. No, there was nothing that ever led me to believe. Now, maybe if I read it again, I would have a different,
because you would read it again knowing she said that.
That could be true. So I would be looking for it.
Yeah,
but I don't agree. I
disagree completely. I mean, first of all, she shouldn't have said that. Because, like you said, once you've created it and it's out there and it's ours for our creating, when we read it in our minds, you can't. It's like recently, the Russo brothers just explained something from Endgame. I'm like, no, you don't get to do that.
Well, and there's a difference if it's like, oh, it wasn't clear, I didn't understand. Like, if it was important, it should have been stated. It should have been there. And
if you wanted a part of his identity, I wouldn't have hated it.
I don't care at all.
I would not have liked him less if it was his identity, but make it then.
It's like, oh, this, and like when she told, because I read somewhere like they were going to put something in one of the movies about maybe Dumbledore having like a long lost love interest or something like that. Well, and she slipped him a note. She was like, oh, well, Dumbledore's gay. It's like, what? Where?
Like
why?
Grindelwald.
That's the argument.
Yeah, that's the argument.
I get it, but I don't know.
After it's said and done, you don't get to do that.
That's how I feel.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Again, the first 5 years spent writing Harry Potter, J.K. solely focused on the rules and regulations of the characters and the boundaries they would never cross. So basically, it's kind of like, this is Harry Potter. These are his rules. These are his blah, 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 blah. This is Ron Weasley.
Yeah. That's how those characters are so deep.
Exactly. Tom Felton, who plays Draco Malfoy, originally auditioned for Harry and Ron. Wouldn't have worked.
It worked out the way it was supposed to, I think.
While filming the Horcrux kissing scene between Harry and Hermione, the imaginary kissing, it's the Horcrux trying to get to Ron, the actor Rupert Grint actually had to be removed from set because he could not stop laughing when they'd kiss. Yeah. So they physically had to say, dude, you've got to go. You can't laugh.
I mean, obviously, we don't know them personally or anything, but I can imagine, like, they all grew up together. They're probably really, really tight, really close friends.
He's just off snickering.
Yeah.
Like, they're snogging, you know?
Like brothers and sisters and stuff. And then poor Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe had to,
have
do
this
that.
sensual kiss. It's not a kiss. It's a makeout.
Yeah. So it's probably
But yeah, they had
difficult.
to say, get off the set.
Did you know this? Here's something. Did you know that at least on these movies, and I guess maybe it's an English thing because I haven't heard anything about it from an American film, but if an actor is, holding up filming because they're laughing or they're messing up a lot, they give them a red card, and that means it's a penalty on their pay. Like they take a fine out of their payment because they're holding up production because they can't get it together. And there's footage of this of Emma Watson getting a red card because she was giggling so much. And after they gave her that, she was like, "Oh, okay."
Maybe that's why you don't see as many British bloopers as you do over here in America.
Maybe, I don't know.
Our gag rails are insane. Like,
Oh yeah.
go back and watch The Office's gag rails, How I
Yeah.
Met Your Mother, Supernatural, any of those. They go on. The Avengers. I mean, the MCU gag reel is crazy.
I saw it on one of the documentaries on one of the Blu-rays,
Yeah.
or whatever. So I don't know which one it was. I'm sorry, but it happens. So
That's funny.
yeah.
Final fact, Rowling stated herself that the Dementors are the physical embodiment of her depression that she fought. And I was like, oh, that's kind of, like, beautiful
Yeah, I like that.
and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
Because we all have our own Dementors that we fight on a daily basis.
And I just criticized J.K. Rowling. Let me be clear. I love J.K. Rowling, and she's done
Absolutely.
a wonderful thing, and no one else could have ever done anything like it the way she did it.
No.
And
Absolutely.
something like that, what you just said, like, that's deep stuff there.
Absolutely.
That's good writing.
Yeah.
When you put yourself into your work like that, you know it's going to be good.
You care about the product.
Yeah, that too.
So we got quite a few questions here. Don't want to linger on too long.
So we're
Peyton,
gonna rapid fire.
Peyton has a two-parter here. If someone other than the seeker happened to accidentally catch the snitch, would it count?
I would say no, because that's the seeker's sole job and responsibility.
Okay.
Here's another fun story. Did you know that there's real life Quidditch, like
Yes.
leagues of Quidditch?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
I'm not ashamed of who I am. When I was in college, we had a Quidditch league.
At Tusculum?
Yes, sir. I was the keeper.
Did you just run around on brooms?
Yeah, you basically take a broom and you have to keep one hand on the broom and you put it between your legs and you run around. It's kind of like soccer.
Or lacrosse?
And when I was working at GameStop, I was telling my manager about it, and he was giving me such a hard time. He was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't even say the things on here what he said to me." He was just ruthless about it. I was like, "Oh yeah, buddy. Well, like half the cheerleading squad's on my Quidditch team, so I'm having a great time."
I'm having a great time.
And then he had nothing else to say. So
the other part of Peyton's question is, if you put a memory in the pensieve, can you still remember it?
yes, I
agree.
I mean, Dumbledore puts his memories in there over and over again,
Yeah.
and he still talks about them. So I would imagine that it's a
Okay.
yes.
Andrew asks, the average wait time currently for the new Hagrid ride is up to 300 minutes in line. Would you all wait in that line?
Let's answer at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
No.
I'll wait until the appeal has worn off and
Yeah.
nobody cares about it, and I'll wait like 20 minutes.
Carolyn, me mum,
Oh,
she asks, do you think the early books foreshadowed more of a Harry-Hermione relationship before Ginny became in the picture?
I don't remember ever feeling that way. It's been a while since I've read some of the later books.
I felt it a little bit in the first two, especially like at the wizard's chest scene and the keys scene and her having this long talk with, like, it's always been you, you've got to go on. And until you meet Ginny, you're also kind of sitting there like, well, who would he date?
I think that there's more clear foreshadowing with Ginny, to be honest, because
When
like
she
the
shows
first
up.
time in the first book, she's at King's Cross at the platform with him, and she's like shy, and in the book like she's hiding behind the mom and everything. So
Okay.
that's just my opinion.
Chris asks, which movie was closest to the book?
Oh, I don't know, honestly.
I think 4 is pretty close.
I really couldn't tell you. I remember the Deathly Hallows movies being pretty close to the book, but when you have the opportunity to divide it into 2 movies,
It's easier.
You have more freedom to do that.
Absolutely. Logan asks, what is your favorite magical moment in the series? Examples: Quidditch, Night Bus, Wizard's Chest. Mine's the Night Bus.
Quidditch.
Quidditch.
I think I love Quidditch.
Bradley asks, if magic were real, what would be your favorite spell to use in the Muggle world?
Obliviate.
Make people forget.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be like, here's what I think of you, buddy. Blah, 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 blah. Obliviate.
Wingardium Leviosa. Make things float towards me.
This is why you're a sloth.
Probably. Lee asks, will you rate your favorite movies in order from favorite to least favorite?
Oh, Lord, I'd have to think about it.
I would have to say Sorcerer's Stone, Order of the Phoenix, Goblet of Fire, Chamber of Secrets, Deathly Hallows, Half-Blooded Prince, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay, I'm going to go Order of the Phoenix, Chamber of Secrets, Goblet of Fire, Sorcerer's Stone, Deathly Hallows 2, Deathly Hallows 1, Half-Blood Prince, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh. So those last two we have the same.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for the question, Lee. That was definitely a thought-provoking one. Madison asks, what Deathly Hallow would you choose? The Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, or the Cloak of Invisibility?
Well, we know that the Elder Wand is kind of tricky because people are always going to be after it. Mm-hmm. Right? Like people were killing people in their sleep to get it. Didn't that happen?
Yes. It's like the 24/7 title.
The Resurrection Stone would be really nice, but
they don't come back the same.
And you learn that, like, the one brother that got that, he just kind of wasted away in sorrow or something like that. So I'm going to say the cloak.
Invisibility, absolutely. Yeah. Her second part of the question is, why not kill Umbridge earlier? Stupid Pepto-Bismol color-wearing hag.
Dang.
She did not like her.
Who would have killed her? I don't know. The kids aren't going to kill her. They're not murderers. And how would they get away with that?
I don't know.
I'm sure we all wanted Umbridge to die, though,
so she's protected.
That's true too.
Brian asks, whose performance stuck out to you the most?
Alan Rickman.
You know, I want to say that, but in all honesty, I absolutely loved Gary Oldman and Alan Rickman, but stuck out to me the most, I would say Umbridge's.
She was very good.
You hate every fiber of her.
I hated her more in the book than I did in the movie, to be honest with you.
They didn't give her as many shining moments in the movies. In the book, she is the worst thing on the planet. Yeah. Darren asks, in the Goblet of Fire, why did he just not say Accio Golden Egg instead of going through the flying with the dragon and stuff?
Pretty sure that the Ministry, who was in charge of the event, they thought of that, and so they put like a protection spell on the egg so you couldn't cheat into it that way.
Oh.
I'm about 99.9% sure that is exactly the reason why.
Okay. Michael asks, why didn't the British Ministry of Magic call to their foreign counterparts for help in the war with Voldemort? Because since then, we knew about Bobat and Durmstrang. We've learned that there's an American embassy.
Mm-hmm. They're all over the place.
They're all over the world. Why didn't they call for help?
Well, a lot of the war was like fought in secret. Like they didn't know where Voldemort's people were. And think about it: when the war was going on, Voldemort's people ran the Ministry.
Yeah.
They're not going to call out to other countries, "Hey, come help our government," because they were the government.
They were the government.
So
okay,
they couldn't really get around.
Yeah,
that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Megan asks, did you like that Harry wound up with Ginny? Was there enough build-up? I think the build-up was good.
Yeah, I guess so. I was
also, what death hurt the most?
Dumbledore.
Serious. For me. Dobby sucked too.
Dobby in the book didn't bother me. Only in the movie, Dobby was the worst for sure because I cried like a little baby. But I think
Snape was pretty rough because after that, he takes his tears to the pen.
And I love Snape.
Learns everything.
I'm going to say Dumbledore was the worst for me, even though it was spoiled. TK.
You're up there with Stacy now.
Oh,
TK.
it's hard to get to the level of Stacy, but I think that might be close.
And the final question, Adam asks, do you prefer the story with younger Harry or older Harry, and why?
I've never thought about it before. I think
That's a
like
good question.
probably younger Harry because the story is a little more lighthearted then. Not that I don't like the darker stuff, because I do, but...
I would have to agree with younger Harry, but my reason is the introduction, the wizarding world not being fully established. Like, him learning in any detail, like even the chocolate toads. You got to keep an eye on them or they'll hop away.
Yeah.
I got a Dumbledore. I've got about 9 of him. Oh, he left.
Yeah.
You don't expect him to stay around all day,
Everything
do
was
you?
so casual, like, how do you not know this?
How did you not know this? I think just the building of the wizarding world. And then once it became older and established, it was just kind of like, okay, now we've got to go darker because we've already created it.
Yeah. And I just think, like, when I talked earlier about reading the first book to my kids, they were able to keep up with that. If you think about the books later on, like, probably starting at, like, 5 and on, they're really complicated.
Yeah.
And I like that, but...
Even starting in 5, you're on the brink of war.
Yeah, but...
Then it
something about things being so simple and everything.
Yeah,
I just
it
really
completely
like that.
changes from, like early Lord of the Rings, the Shire.
Yeah,
it changes from that to the Battle for Middle Earth.
Darker tone.
Well,
I was about to say, like, you and I both always say that, like, the original, the first movie or the first whatever,
the origin.
Our favorites, at least. Yeah.
Great questions, people. Thank you so much for sending them in and taking the time. This has been a very long episode.
This has been our longest, probably nerdiest episode ever.
We had some nerd diving into quite a bit of stuff.
So if you've made it this long, cheers to you.
Yeah, definitely cheers to you. We're going to take a little bit of a change in pace for next week's episode. We're normally breaking down all this nerd stuff and diving into different things, whether it be a streaming service or a movie. But we have a dear friend of ours, not just a friend of the podcast, but a friend of ours in life and in the theater world. His name's Peyton Bolin, and he has survived more than any person his age should.
It's hard to even imagine some of the things that Peyton's gone through. But if you talk to him and everything, you would almost never know.
No.
But he has an amazing story, and he's very upbeat, and he's always very positive and happy, and he makes people smile. Mm-hmm. He's very loved.
Absolutely.
And we want to share Peyton's story with you. It's incredible, and he's one of us, guys. I mean, he's a mega nerd.
Absolutely,
and
he is.
We're gonna sit down and chat with him and maybe his family a little bit, and really share his story because it's worth hearing. It's incredible, and like Tyler said, it's gonna be a little bit different than what we normally do. But this is something we feel strongly about, and we want to share Peyton's story with you.
Absolutely. So, if you know Peyton. Even if you don't, we hope that you'll tune into that episode. And thanks again for all the questions. Thanks for getting this far, to our sponsors, Patreon supporters. Thank you to all who in the Nerd Nation who make 30 and Nerdy happen. Because without you, there is no us. So
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, and had a great time, man.
Yeah, me too. And with that, we'll close this episode out, and we will see you muggles next time.
You're a wizard, Harry.